Classroom jobs are a great way to give responsibility to your student, but as a bonus, it's also a great way to take things off of your plate. And what teacher doesn't want to do less things? In today's video, I'm sharing all about how I use classroom jobs in my 4th grade classroom. If you're new here, I'm Rachel Vincent, and I love sharing ways to help teachers simplify their classrooms and their teaching. Probably the easiest way, if you're just trying to simplify your process and not have a whole something else to keep up with, or you just know yourself and you know you're the type of teacher who just can't handle where every kid has a classroom job, is to simply have 2 helpers of the day. And those 2 helpers essentially do all of the helper tasks and things that you want to get done in your classroom. This strategy works really well, especially in the younger grades where kids maybe can't do as many things independently and you only have a small amount of tasks that you want to get done every day. In 4th grade and at my current school, we are encouraged to let every child have a classroom job. We call them leadership roles. And so I have, for the last 5 years, every student has had a class job, and I actually created a video all about this when I first started my channel a couple years ago, and things have sort of changed, and I wanted to share what I'm doing now. If you want to see that first video, I will link it in the cards for you and down in the description for you to check out how I originally do my class jobs. It's still sort of similar, but definitely has made the process a little bit more simplified. When I originally came up with all the ideas of how I wanted my classroom jobs to run, one of the things I wanted to do was help sort of take the dojo points off of my plate, because I was really good at giving dojo points at the beginning of the year, and then as I got into teaching and content, I just sort of drop off, and I love running a class store, and so I wanted to make sure that students were still getting enough points. So I had all these check-off sheets where students would give points to students who had clean cubbies or who had good behavior in the hallway, or who always the positive points. I never had students take away points. It was just a lot to keep up each week with making sure I had new sheets printed out for them, collecting the old sheets, going through the sheets to actually give the points in the Class Dojo system. It was just a lot. So one of the things I decided to do this year was to take all of those sheets away and just give points for completing class jobs, so they get paid in dojo points to complete their class jobs. And then of course I have other things that I give points for. I like to give points for showing their work in math. I like to give points for dress up days. And so the thing that I was worried about the most was them not having enough points. But as it turns out, they have plenty of points. The year starts off a little bit slower, and they may not have as many points for our first class store. They had enough to buy something, but one of the things that it has taught them that I didn't even think that would be a benefit of this is how to sort of budget and save their points for some of those higher ticketed items. And some students still spend all their money on the little things, and some have been saving their points to get those high ticketed, high coveted prizes in our class store. One of the things I also wanted to do was to make sure that my class jobs this year were actually helping us do things in our classroom, or helping me in the classroom. Because that's the benefit of being able to come up with a class job for every student, is to find tasks that take things off of my to-do list. One of the big things is at the end of the day, changing our lunch choices and resetting the numbers, changing the date on our calendar and updating those things. All of that is a student job. So when you're thinking about class jobs you want for your class, think of some of those tasks that you could give to your students to do that will give you one less thing to do each day. Another thing I just know about myself is that switching class jobs frequently is just too much. I can't remember what to do. Kids don't remember what job they have. So I only switch jobs quarterly. It used to be every month, and then I started stretching it out, and now we do it quarterly. Every single quarter we get new jobs. So students keep their jobs for a long time, and that just is very beneficial to me. I don't have to worry about it. They kind of get good at their job. You learn quickly who doesn't like doing jobs or certain jobs, and you can ask others to help. My students just know that if they don't do their job, they don't get paid in dojo points, and so most of them do it even if they don't really love the job they chose. And I just use it as a lesson of, well, now you know that next time you don't like jobs like this, so choose a different job for next time. I also started using a Google Form job application instead of a paper application, which has been such a game changer for me when I am choosing the jobs, because the results of a Google Form you can view in Sheets, and then you can Command or Control Find to find the jobs. So one of the things I do is I know that there are certain jobs that are probably the least favorite in the class, and so I will search for whoever chose that to give that job to, or as I'm going through and I can't figure out a student who maybe got left off and I'm not sure what their jobs, I can search for their name, and it just makes searching so much easier instead of flipping through a bunch of papers to try to find who is going to get what job. So a task that used to take me a couple days, now I can get done in just a few minutes. So now let's hop into my classroom. I'm going to share with you all of the jobs that I have set up just to give you some ideas, because I know sometimes coming up with those jobs ideas, it's just a good to hear what others do in their classroom to see if you can do something similar that will fit your classroom. This is our job board here, our leadership roles as we call them. They're all posted here. I'm gonna take you up close so you can see the job description of each. Behind each job description is a student's name that has the job, so that they know what they're supposed to do and their expectations. And if I can't remember who had a job, I can say, who's this person? And somebody can look back here and say, it's so-and-so. I'm gonna take you up close so you can see each job description. So our absentee aide is just like our substitute. They do all of the jobs of everybody. They also can help out when I'm not here, but pretty much it's just if somebody's absent, that's what they do. This is a new job I created this year, and it's been fantastic. I have actually 2 of them. They're lanyard leaders. We have to wear lanyards and ID badges to lunch for our cafeteria to scan, and last year I let them be in charge of them, and they lost and broke most of them. This year they all hang them up, and 5 minutes before lunch they pass them out. They also do it on library days, because they use these for library days. I don't know if you can see it because there's chairs, but right there is where the lanyards are located in the classroom. Our electrician, pretty much simple. They're our lights person. I have LED lights. They get to choose the color each morning, turn them off, and they're in charge of the lights in the classroom. Our floor manager, I took this job out of our cleanup crew at the end of the day last year. I called them, I think, the maintenance crew. I put this as their own person. They sweep at the end of the day. This is my teacher assistant. She does, or he, currently it's a she, does all of the jobs I need done. This is what I have listed, but basically anytime I need something, they do it. They're the person that gets our recess radio and returns it. They take things to other people. They just help out in any way. Our cubby inspector, and just make sure that people don't have papers hanging out of their cubbies at the end of the day, and pretty much to make sure that nobody left a jacket or a lunchbox or there's trash on the floor under the cubbies, because people don't claim that trash. So they check that at the end of the day. Our lunch supervisor is the person that moves all of our lunch numbers at the end of the day and updates with the new choices for the next day. They pretty much run our lunch number system. Every student makes a choice and we turn in our lunch count each morning. So they're in charge of changing it all at the end of the day. I just print out a lunch menu from our school district and put it over by the lunch numbers. This is the only person that can use the pencil sharpener. They ask people to bring their pencils to be sharpened. They sharpen the ones in our dull bucket, and they are in charge of all of that. Our aesthetic assistant does all of the straightening. They make sure that our stools are stacked at the end of the day, that our couch pillows are not strewn about, that our crate seats are put back up against the wall. They make sure all water bottles from the back counter are gone. They just make sure all those little bits and pieces are organized. Bathroom monitors, pretty self-explanatory. I have 2, a boy and a girl. They are the ones that just make sure that people are behaving in the bathrooms. This is their first year that they use a community bathroom. Before that, it was 1 bathroom in each classroom. So our whiteboard manager changes the date at the end of each day, also hangs up the related arts. That's something new this year that has been really beneficial. Instead of kids asking me all day long what related arts we have, they just look at the board. I just have a little ring with all of our related arts, PE, music, that they just flip through every day. And then we have a little spot for reminders that they tell us, bring field trip money, tomorrow's hat day, whatever it may be. Our technology specialist, this person, honestly, their biggest job is to
walk around the room and unplug all the chargers that kids left in the wall and return them to who they belong to. But they also bring their charger to help make sure everybody is charged. So we have 2 sanitation crew. They take care of our trash. We as a school will bag up all of our trash in our classroom and put it in the hallway for our custodians to get. So they bag it up, walk around, make sure they've collected all the trash, put it in the hallway, and then put new trash bags in. We also have a security bag. It's just a book bag with our class rosters and our like red, yellow, green signs for drills and different things like that has to go with us everywhere we go. So our security guard is responsible for taking it with them wherever they go. Our book box manager is the person who just makes sure that people have returned their book boxes and that they're nice and neat and not disorderly. Our positivity patrol is new this year. Each morning they lead us in our class mission statement, and then we have positive affirmations that we say every morning, and they lead us. They get to use the clicker and go through our slideshow of all of our positive affirmations that we say. The final one is our door supervisor. This person obviously is our door holder. This year I have started, because it's always somebody always forgets something on the playground. So now my door supervisor is the person that holds the door for them to be able to get back in when they go to get something from the playground. That was the best decision I ever made. And then finally, my library crew. It's really just one person this year. We have 22 students. If I had more, I would have them there, but they just make sure all of our books are organized and returned and everything looks nice over in our class library. A bonus job that I have this year are table leaders. They get paid bonus points in Dojo for being a table leader. They make sure that their table's cleaned up at the end of the day, that everyone has stacked their chairs, that there's no trash on the floor, and that their buckets are nice and orderly. You see, these 2 tables did a great job. Their table leaders making sure they also wipe down the tables. Currently we're out of wipes, so that's not getting done. You can see there's sometimes I don't always get it all done, but for the most part, they just make sure that this looks nice. That's where everybody keeps their supplies and folders and things like that.
Like I said, this is a much more simplified process for me. It may still seem like a lot because every student has a job, but this year has been so much better with class jobs and giving dojo points, because I only have to give the 5 dojo points for the week for doing class jobs. I do give extra bonus points for my table leaders, but other than that, it's just been a much better process this year. And that is the one thing that I still do even after 20 years of teaching, is every year I think about how can I make this system or this process better? What is not working that I want to change? And that is what I'm sharing in the video that's on your screen, all of the great things that worked well this year and some of the things that I'm going to be changing for next year.